Hi everybody, thanks for coming to this week's paging webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how and when to tweet. I am Josh Allen. I'm a social media strategist here at Orange Soda. So I'll be going through these slides today with you and answering some of your questions. We're going to start out just with a short demo. We're going to go into Twitter and kind of show you where you need to go in order to tweet and to post and also to reply to tweets. But first off, before I do that, if you guys have any questions as we're going through, feel free to email us those questions at pagingsupport@orangesoda.com. That way, as soon as we get done with the webinar, we can go to those questions and help you guys find an answer. So again, it's pagingsupport@orangesoda.com. So let me pull up Twitter real quick. All right, so this is whenever you log into Twitter, this is the first thing that you'll see. You'll come to a news feed similar to Facebook. So any Twitter accounts that you're following, you'll see their tweets come up here in this section. And again, this is something that we've gone over in the past, so it should be a kind of a review for you guys. If you have questions about it, feel free to ask. And also, I wanted to point this out real quick. If you go over here into the settings or click on this little gearbox right here, it has a drop down that pops up. And if you click on the help, Twitter has a really good support website or a help guide. So if you guys have questions as you're navigating through Twitter, be sure to use this help center. They've again got really good guides and really good answers to your questions. So again, today we're talking about how and when to tweet. So right now we're going to talk about how to tweet. So you've got a few different options in Twitter. When you first log in, again, you're seeing your news feed here on the right section. And on the left section, you kind of have a brief overview of your Twitter account. So as you can see, you've got your Twitter name here at the top. It shows how many tweets you've made in the past, how many people you're following, and how many people are following you. This is just a test account that we're using just to kind of demonstrate. So we don't really have much going on with this right now. But if we wanted to tweet, right under that brief overview is a compose new tweet section. There's a little box there. So if you click in there, it expands and you're able to enter a tweet. So we'll just type one in right now. So we're going to say, hope everyone is enjoying the snow outside. Because here in Utah, it's pretty snowy outside. So we're going to just tweet that. And it says your tweet was posted. So that's one way you can tweet. Another way that you can tweet is up here in the top navigation. You have over here on the far right, you have a compose new tweet button as well. So if you click that, same deal, a little window pops up, and you're able to type in a tweet and post that to your Twitter account. As you're tweeting, the more that you tweet, I would encourage you to play around with the photos, adding photos into your tweets. Just like on Facebook, when you have photos or videos that are included on your tweets, the engagement rate seems to increase. So if you're a small business, that's a great tip. Be sure to use photos and videos, and you should see an increased engagement rate. So and then the last way is if you just go to your Twitter account by clicking there. So this will show you just a full overview of your Twitter account, kind of an expanded view of that brief overview we looked at before. In this tweet section, these are all the tweets that you've made or that people have made at you. So let's say if we had a friend who tweeted at this Twitter account, we would see it in our news feed. And then to tweet on this page, just use the compose new tweet up in the upper right section. So that's a brief overview of how to tweet. Again, if you guys have questions about that, feel free to check out the Twitter support and help center, or feel free to email me. I'm always willing to help out with that. So let's go back to the slideshow. Let me pull that up real quick. All right, so we went through the live demo. Now we're going to talk about when to tweet. So first off, we're gonna talk about a few stats. To start out, there are tons of people on Twitter. Over 200 million people use Twitter actively. So that's a lot of people, and that number continues to grow. And this stat is actually a little outdated. So I'm sure that there are millions more. So anyways, there are tons of people on Twitter, just like on Facebook. There's a wide array of people and variety of people on Twitter. Over 1 billion tweets are sent out each week. So that's 175 million tweets every day. So there's a lot of content being shared on Twitter. Excuse me. And a lot of people that are tweeting about a lot of different things. Of those 175 million tweets, however, only 29% actually produce a reaction or an engagement. So that includes a reply or retweet. And of that 29%, only 6% of those are retweets. And retweets are really vital or really important to a small business. They're kind of like on Facebook. Users have the option of sharing a post with their friends. That's just like a retweet on Twitter. So let's say with that tweet that I made earlier about how I'm hoping that everyone's enjoying the snow outside. If I got 5 other people to retweet that, then it gets it out to a much bigger audience than just my fan base. So that's something that we always want to strive for when we tweet, is getting those retweets and those replies, really carrying that conversation. 92% of all retweets happen within the first hour of the original tweet. So that's super important to know. And then this last stat is really amazing, I think. It says the estimated half-life of a tweet is just 4 minutes. So after about 4 minutes, your tweet has lost a lot of its importance and its weight. And that's just because there's so much content that's being shared on Twitter. You look at your news feed, and after only a few minutes, you're seeing completely different tweets, and it's filled with completely different tweets than you saw 5 minutes ago. All right, so we get this question a lot, especially with clients who are new to Twitter. And so it's when should I tweet? And this really depends on who you're targeting. So that's something that we really need to nail down as a small business, or or even as a national brand, we really need to nail down our target audience. That will make it easier for us to figure out when we should tweet and what we should tweet about. So 54% of workplaces ban Twitter, and only 10% of companies allow full access to social networking sites. So during business hours, it's kind of hard because a lot of people aren't able to get onto Twitter during those business hours, during regular business hours, because they're at work, and so they're not really able to access that. But just because they're banned from Twitter on their computer or in their workplace doesn't mean that they're not using it. With mobile devices nowadays, with smartphones out there, tons of people are accessing Twitter even during those work hours, even when they're technically not allowed to be using it. So over 2/3 of Twitter users access Twitter using a mobile device. So that's a lot of people. If you think 200 million users, or probably closer to 300 million users now, 2/3 of them are using Twitter on mobile device. So 2/3 of them are basically able to access Twitter anytime and anywhere they want. So that's a lot of people. This graph shows kind of the best days out of the week that we've seen to have the most Twitter activity. So you can see Tuesday and Wednesdays both have the highest amount of Twitter activity out of the 7 days of the week. So keep that in mind as you're trying to decide when your company should tweet. It's likely that the majority of your followers will be using Twitter on Tuesdays and Wednesdays out of all the days. And then as far as the hour of day goes, it seems as if the early afternoon, mainly between 1 and 3 p.m., are the best days, or are the best time of day to tweet. Again, that's when we see the most Twitter activity throughout the day. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 1 and 3 p.m., that's again when we're seeing a peak in Twitter activity throughout the week. So when should you tweet? Again, it's going to really depend on your target audience. You guys know your customers much better than I do. So these are some pretty general tips that we're going to give you, and they apply to most businesses. But again, if you guys feel like this is going against your knowledge of your fan base, then definitely change it up. So generally, we recommend that you tweet 1 to 5 times per day. So it doesn't have to be every hour. It can just be once a day if you feel that's the best. But post on a consistent basis. That's one thing that we really want everyone to get in the habit of, just posting regularly, whether it's 1 time a day or a few times a day. And don't forget the weekends. Even though we saw that the most Twitter activity takes place Tuesdays and Wednesdays, weekends are still really important because that's when you're going to see a lot of engagement, a lot of retweets and replies come in. So remember, it's different for each business. Nailing down your target audience will help you pinpoint when the best time to tweet is. And be sure to measure your interactions and become informed. If you're seeing that the best time for you to post is on Thursdays at 11 a.m., then keep tweeting on Thursdays at 11 a.m. and take that knowledge that you gain from measuring those interactions and apply it to your tweeting. So our overall goal when we tweet is to get as many interactions as possible. And interactions, when we talk about interactions on Twitter, we're talking about retweets, mentions, and replies. So that's our goal. When we get these things, when people interact with our tweets, when they retweet us or mention us in a tweet or reply to one of our tweets, it's going to drive more people to our Twitter account, and we're going to gain more followers and hopefully drive traffic to our business that way. That's the goal. So I know this was kind of a short webinar for you guys today. Next week we're going to be talking about how to measure your success on Twitter. So if you have any questions about anything that we've gone over or that we went over today, feel free to email me at pagingsupport@orangesoda.com. I'd love to help answer some of your questions. So thanks for coming, guys. Look forward to next week. Have a good one.